Okay, so in today's video I have got week 6 of my 365 days of art challenge, so if you want to see that then keep on watching. So the first prompt that I started out with this week was this like orangey brown like watercolour, like obviously already painted but like watercolour effect orange block basically, and you had to turn it into a house. So I first of all decided to add some like tiles to it, you know, sort of like how like terraced houses look. I kind of wanted to give it that sort of vibe, so I started by sort of making like a scalloped pattern along the top, and then I kind of went off of it a little bit, and then added some like extra lines, some texture and some like detail to it, I guess, and I ended up actually hating the roof, so I just kind of left it and then tried to move on and tried to just add in some more details. So instead of like, I don't know, trying to make this look realistic, I mean, what's going to look realistic about it because it's like a watercolour block to begin with, I decided to just go with like the fine liner like pens and just kind of try and make the most of it. So I did like a door at the bottom as you just saw, then 2 windows next to it with like curtains that you can see through, and then I did 2 upstairs as well, one slightly bigger, one slightly smaller, and then above that I did sort of like a balcony area, which to be fair looks a bit odd, but I actually ended up liking this in the end. It definitely looks a bit odd, but yeah, I do definitely really like this. I mean, it's not my favourite, but I do like it. So yeah, I added some little flowers down the bottom as you saw as well, and then just kind of, instead of adding more and more things, just kind of decided to leave it and just move on. But I did also add a few like little brick patterns, like not all over obviously, but just a few, just to kind of give the appearance of bricks, yeah, just to kind of give a bit of an illusion of that. Then the next one I did, which is actually nearly over, I did this one, which was you had to paint the illusion of rain. So I did some sort of like blue swirls just sort of like flying across the page, and then decided to do some grey ones to contrast going down, and I thought that would kind of symbolise rain and wind a little bit. Yeah, some of them smudged a little bit, which I thought looked quite effective. To begin with, it kind of annoyed me a little bit, but then in the end I realised that it actually looked quite cool. Again, sort of gave a bit of, you know, an appearance of rain, and a little bit of an appearance of wind. So then after I'd done that one, I just kept that one very simple as you saw. I moved on to this next one, which was adding the facial features to these sort of like brown, pink and brown blobs. So I just again used the fine liner to create loads of different facial expressions and hairstyles and that sort of thing. I really enjoyed that one actually, and I thought that turned out really well. I'm definitely, as you can probably tell throughout the different videos I've done on this, I'm really liking the fine liner effect on a lot of these different prompts that I have, so yeah, I definitely really enjoy doing those. The next one I had was this one. It was another one of those sort of like paint colours that you think would look good together, so there was a couple that we had to carry on and then a couple that we could just do like on your own. So I chose orange, red and pink, or purple, for the first one, because I thought they kind of looked good together, and then the bottom one I chose a light green, dark green and then a blue to kind of contrast a little bit, and then on the top one I decided to leave one square white and then do one grey, so then I had grey, black and white. Yeah, I just thought those colours kind of suited and looked well together, or good together, so yeah, that's kind of just where I went with those ones. And then this next one I did was just creating different marks and textures with pencil, just like graphite pencil, which you can see. I just kind of copy a few of like the like example ones, just kind of do them myself. But I like with these ones kind of having the marks sort of surround each other rather than just having them next to each other. I think it creates more of like a, obviously these are just like practices for different things that you can do within your own work, but I like kind of blending them around each other, and kind of putting them in and around other ones to kind of make it look a little bit more cohesive and a little bit more put together. I don't know why really, because at the end of the day it's just sort of like a practice page, but yeah, I do really enjoy doing that. And then the next one that I went on to do was this one, which was drawing a rainbow. So to begin with, I thought, literally drawing a rainbow, you know, like with, you know, like how rainbows are drawn, like the semicircle of colours and whatever else. But in the end I decided to go for this kind of effect instead. So I split the page, I went diagonally as you can see, and I split the page into 7 different sections, and then painted each colour in there with I used watercolour as always in there, and then blended them into each other to create sort of like a rainbow gradient down the page, and it definitely took me ages to blend all of these, but the final look actually looks really cool. Absolutely ages for that one to dry, as I'm sure you can imagine, but the last one that I did was another sort of like mark making texture, you know, different pattern one, and it was a watercolor one, so you could obviously use different colors for this, but I decided to just stick with the blue, because in the example one it was blue that was used throughout, so I just kind of carried on with that, just made different marks and blended them and whatever else all over, and then the final thing I just did was marking off the tracker as I always do. So I just went through, found the ones that I had done this week, and then just marked them all off the tracker like I do at the end of each week. So yeah, that was week 6. So that was week 6 of my 365 Days of Art challenge. If you enjoyed this week, make sure to let me know, comment down below, like and subscribe, and come back next Sunday for week 7.